Hello, neighbor. Good to see you. About 14 months ago, I got in my car from Salt Lake City, and I drove down to Pahrump, Nevada, to personally visit these veterans and cowboys that got scooped up by the FBI after Lavoy Finicum got killed by the FBI. These guys were involved in the Bunkerville protest on Clive and Bundy's ranch off of I-15. The BLM had started rounding up his cattle, shooting them, leaving 80 of them got killed, destroying the water wells, the water springs, private property. Anyway, people came from all over the country to stand up for the last rancher in Clark County, Nevada, to defend his property and their lives. And anyway, they all got scooped up, and I figured if somebody needed to go see them, and I didn't know anybody in Pahrump, so I went down there by myself and found another guy on the way, actually, and we went in and saw some of these guys together. And one of these veterans, as I was talking to him, he broke down and he started to cry. Right in front of another man, a perfect stranger, he started to bawl his eyes out. Not because he was in jail, but because he knew his children were crying for their father, and there wasn't anything he could do about it. I went back to that CCA prison for profit this week, and that man is still locked up without trial, without bail, and his children are still crying for their father. It's been 16 months. 16 months with no bail, no trial. He is being held captive by the U.S. Marshal Service. The Republicans give the U.S. Marshal Service the money they use to terrorize Americans and traffic in human beings. It's a business. The CCA Profit Corporation, Core Civic, it's a for-profit prison. They get paid by how many bunks they fill. Your tax dollars at work, Republicans like Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, all of them, Mike Pence, they're the ones that are keeping these men in jail. They're the ones that are profiting from this hell-on-earth institution supported by the American people. You can't blame anybody else. Americans are keeping these men here. We live in a wicked world, a wicked society. Americans are keeping their fellow man here. Everybody loves the troops until they're in trouble. I'm so sick of that. If everybody that had one of those stupid bumper stickers actually did something, and it's not just these veterans, there are hundreds, probably. I could give you 53. There are so many servicemen that get locked away by Uncle Scam after showing up to do whatever he wants them to do. People are garbage to the federal government. They're chattel. They're slaves. And most of them celebrate their slavery by proclaiming their freedom. Celebrate the 4th of July with Chinese fireworks, and everything else is made in China because we don't make our own stuff anymore. If you want a good job, you go get a job with the government, and the government just steals what they make from whoever's left to work. I went in and saw those guys again this time around, and about 45 minutes after I got out, I lost it. I cried. I cried in front of other strangers. This is a wicked, wicked place. You can pretend it doesn't exist. You can somehow justify in your psyche that, well, they must have done something wrong, otherwise they wouldn't be in jail. You obviously haven't studied any of these issues if you feel that way. When you go in to see these people, you're looking at it, it's not even a face-to-face conversation. You're looking at them through a very crummy video screen. You can't even hardly see them sometimes. It's not like the glass window with the telephone you get in a lot of county jails. And that's their visit. It's terrible. It's terrible. I hear morale at the FBI is at an all-time low. It should be, because you guys are losers. You guys are prosecuting your fellow man. You guys murder for money. Well, I don't do that. You don't talk about it. You let someone else do the dirty work. You look away. It's like that one prison guard that won't rat on his superior because he doesn't want to lose his job. But one of the FBI agents that flashbanged Dave Bundy while he was building his house out in the middle of nowhere, he felt so bad about his actions, he sent his sister-in-law to go to the Delta fundraiser and apologize to his wife. When they picked up Dave Bundy, they flashbanged him. They got out all the toys. It's like 10 SUVs. It looked like a Mexican drug cartel out in the middle of nowhere. They scooped him up, threw him in the back. Mary Lynn Bundy's puking on the side of the road because her husband just got hauled away. Doesn't know what's going on. That's the FBI. That's what they do. And they're probably watching this video because that's what they do. They spy on Americans. They don't secure our borders. They do what they're told, just like everybody else. They do what they're told. And they call themselves heroes. It's a terrible place. These guys are telling a lot of us that go and visit them, if I get out of here, I am leaving this country. I am leaving the United States of America. I don't blame them. They've been betrayed. All that support the troops crap that people like to... That's propaganda. That's nonsense. What the government wants you to mean is that you support every war that Uncle Sam sends his soldiers to fight. Everywhere but our own southern border. Everywhere. And you're supposed to believe they're fighting for freedom. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. That's what you get for going to public school and watching propaganda television. The enemy's within America, and we elect them, so maybe it's time we take a good look in the mirror and ask ourselves, what are we doing? And what are we allowing in our name to be done to our fellow man? These guys have said, many of these guys have said, if I get out, I am leaving the United States of America. And they might as well, because their gun rights will be gone. See, when you're a felon, even though you've served 20 years or whatever, 1 year, 5 years, when you're a felon, you lose your God-given natural right to self-defense. One of the guys that just got killed by the police in Utah here, a gun was part of the problem. He was a federal criminal. That whole situation didn't need to happen. But since these guys don't have gun rights when they get out, it doesn't really matter where they go. You could go to Australia, you could go to England. They're going to leave the United States of America. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. We're the ones that allow them to be there. We've turned our back on these guys. And it's not just these guys. There's dozens of people, servicemen and just ordinary Americans locked up. It's a business. It's a means of plunder for those who make money off trafficking in humans. The courts are in on it. The district attorneys are in on it. Large corporations make lots of money doing this. It's a state-sanctioned slave trade, and we vote for it. So chew on that if you care. It's absolutely abominable what we allow in our name. Absolutely. America is not a great nation because America is no longer great. We have a lot of repenting to do, and we better start fixing our country, or it'll be you, it'll be me. This will never stop. We know how this ends. It ends in boxcars. Something to think about.